Donald Johnson here, Scrapyard Saints. This one is a little different. What you're about to hear is not just one song, and it is not just somebody repeating. Yeshua died for our sins without helping us understand what that truly means. This is a full Old Testament journey from the first pages of Genesis all the way to God's promise to restore His people and dwell with man again. We are going back before there was sin, before sacrifice, before the grave, before shame ever entered the human story. We are gonna see what God made man for, what was lost when man chose his own way, why death could not simply be ignored, why the blood on the altar mattered, why the law showed us the depth of the problem, and why God promised a coming seed, lamb, servant, shepherd, king, priest, branch, and redeemer. Every song builds on the one before it. This is not about trying to force a church answer into the Bible. This is about letting the Old Testament itself explain why the Messiah had to come and give his life. Because when we see the whole story, from Eden to the altar, to Passover, to the prophets, to the promise of resurrection and restoration, we begin to understand that God was not making a small rescue plan. He was answering everything sin had broken, and I truly believe this matters. There are people who know the words, Yeshua died for me, but have never been shown the whole reason why his life had to be given. There are people carrying shame, fear, grief, confusion, addiction, anger, or the feeling that they have gone too far, and they need to know that God has been reaching for man from the very beginning. So as you listen, keep your Bible open, check every word. Do not take my word for it, let the scripture speak. And if this teaching helps you, please help this channel carry it farther. A like helps YouTube show this message to people who may never find it on their own. A comment lets people know this is worth stopping for. A share can place God's word in front of a friend, a family member, a brother, a sister, or somebody sitting alone who needs hope right now. I can put the water out here, but I cannot make somebody drink. That part is in your hands, so please like, comment, share, subscribe, and tell somebody about Scrapyard Saints. Unless you honestly do not believe this message could help save a life, strengthen somebody's faith, wake somebody up, or bring somebody back to the truth of God's word. The water is here, let's make sure somebody gets a drink. Now let's go back to the beginning, before man knew shame. Before a man ever hid his faith, before a heart knew fear, before the world had learned the sound of sorrow drawing near, God looked upon the work of his hands and called it very good. He hung the moon, he marked the day, he called the waters back. He raised the fields, he filled the trees, no hunger, fear, or lack. Then from the dust beneath his feet the Lord formed living clay. He breathed the breath of life in man, and life began that day. Made in his image, blessed by his hand, given the earth below to fill it, tend it, guard it well, and let his goodness show. He made man for life, he made man for light, for faithful work beneath his hand, and walking in his sight. He made a home, he made a way, he made them one before man knew shame. Planted Eden, eastward there a garden full and wide, with trees that pleased the human eye and food on every side. The tree of life stood in the midst, life offered where they stood, and every good thing came from God, for every gift was good. Then came the word inside the grace, eat freely from these trees. One boundary in a world of joy, one voice to trust and please. For man had rule but not the throne, he carried work, not God's own crown. He had dominion under heaven but answered upward, not around. He made man for life, he made man for light, for faithful work beneath his hand, and walking in God said it is not good for man to stand alone. So from the man he formed a bride and brought her to his home. Bone of his bone and flesh of flesh, together side by side. No blame, no fear, no covered heart, no reason left to hide. They were naked, unashamed, no guilt within their eyes, no broken trust between their hearts, no fear beneath the skies. What is man? The psalmist asked, that heaven holds him near. Yet God crowned him with honor, set the creatures in his care. The sea and field, the winged wild, all waited on God's hand. Their breath, their food, their every need came from the Lord's command. God made man upright, that is what wisdom said. A world of life, a world of peace, before another path was tread. He made man for life. He made man for life, for fellowship beneath his voice and walking in what's right. He made a home. He made a way. He made them one before man knew shame. Hold this garden in your heart. This is what God made. Fellowship, no shame. The garden was still there, the trees were still standing, but one voice was questioned, and everything changed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotta give him plenty, gotta give him life. One true word in the middle of delight. Every tree around you freely may be known, but do not take that one and make yourself your own. Then another voice came quiet through the green, twisting what God said, bending what it means. Did he really say, will death really come? Take it for yourself, become what you want. The fruit looked good, wisdom looked near. The command grew smaller, the lie grew clear. Then hands reached out where trust had stood. A man took hold of what God said was not good. It was not just fruit, it was not just a tree. It was turning from the giver to decide for self what ought to be. That was the day the garden door closed, the day shame covered what love had exposed, the day man heard the sound of God and ran to hide among the trees. That was the day death entered in, the day the ground bore the weight of sin, the day the heart said, not your way, I will choose my own, and lost the place where life had grown. But not like they dreamed, naked and afraid. Nothing was the same, leaves on their bodies, fear in their breath. The word God spoke now stood beside death. Where are you? Came the voice through the air, not because the Lord did not know where, but man had moved from the place of trust, and now stood trembling in the dust. The man blamed woman, the woman blamed the snake. No one standing still for the choice they made. Where there had been peace, accusation grew. Sin had broken what God made true. That was the day the garden door closed, the day shame covered what love had exposed, the day man heard the sound of God and ran to hide among the trees. That was the day death entered in, the day the ground bore the weight of sin, the day the heart said, not your way, I will choose my own. I lost the place where life had grown. The serpent was judged, the woman knew pain, the man would work through sweat and strain. The ground itself was cursed beneath his hand, thorns would rise across the land. Dust you are, and dust you shall return. That is the road rebellion earned, and the way to the tree of life was guarded from the reach of fallen life. Outside the garden, the story the ground, and death began to spread its sound. Generation after generation came, and every grave repeated the same. Man is mortal, man is bent. Man cannot wash away what sin has spent. The heart imagines evil, the proud build high, the nations scatter, the righteous cry. Who can stand when the Holy One sees? Who can make himself clean on his knees? That was the day the garden door closed, the day shame covered what love had exposed, the day man heard the sound of God and ran to hide among the trees. That was the day death entered in, the day the ground bore the weight of sin, the day the heart said, not your way, I will choose my own, and lost the place where life had grown. The garden door was closed, the grave had entered. Man could not return by his own hands, but God had not finished speaking. The garden door was closing, the ground was under curse. Man had chosen his own wisdom, death had spoken first. But before the dust had settled, before the exile road began, God spoke a promise that would carry through the years of man. To the serpent in the garden, before Adam left the gate, God spoke of a coming seed and a battle still to take. You will strike him at the heel, but your head will meet his hand. A wound would come but not the end, a victory God had planned. The lie had brought the darkness, the lie had brought the grave, but God did not leave his image without a word of hope to save. The curse is real, the sorrow deep, the way back could not be bought. But from the place of judgment came the promise man had sought. A promise in the dust, a light beneath the curse. A coming one would rise where sin had done its worst. The serpent would not win, death would not have the final say. God spoke a hope in Eden, and that hope would make a way. Then God called Abram from his land, walk where I will lead. Through your house and through your line, all nations will be blessed indeed. A child was promised when the child came, a covenant sealed by grace, a future held inside the word God spoke to Abram's face. Then on the mountain Isaac bound, father washed in fear, but God provided what was needed when no answer could appear. The Lord will provide, the mountain said, and that word would not grow old. The promised rescue was still moving through the stories God controlled. A promise in the dust, a light beneath the curse. A coming one would rise where sin had done its worst. The serpent would not win, death would not have the final say. God spoke a hope in Eden, and that hope would make a way. Then Judah heard the blessing, the ruler's staff will stay. A star would rise from Jacob, the king would come one day. David heard the covenant, your throne will not be gone. A righteous branch would rise in time, a shepherd for the torn. The prophet saw him coming, a servant strong and mild, a light beyond the borders, a ruler born, his promised child. A king who would bring justice, the priest who would draw near, a shepherd seeking scattered sheep, a redeemer stronger than fear. Seed of the woman, son of promise, branch from David, shepherd of peace, king for the nations, priest forever. God was writing one great story, not a man-made answer, not a borrowed throne, but the one God promised to bring his people home. A promise in the dust, a light beneath the curse. A coming one would rise where sin had done its worst. The serpent would not win, death would not have the final say. God spoke a hope in Eden, and that hope would make a way. The garden door was closed, but the promise was still open. A seed was coming, a king was coming, a shepherd was coming. God would keep his word. Outside the garden, shame had covered their eyes. Sin had opened the door to death, but God still made a way to come near. Adam and Eve stood far from the tree, afraid of the voice they once ran to see. Leaves could cover, but leaves could not heal. Nothing man-made could undo what was real. Then God covered the man and his bride. Mercy was moving where judgment had cried. The road from Eden was hard and long, but God was showing that sin was wrong. Abel came near with the first of his flock. Cain brought the work of his field and his crop. One altar spoke of a life laid down. One heart grew angry and blood hit the ground. Sin was not small and death was not play. A holy God could not look the other way. Yet mercy kept calling through smoke in the sky. A life for a life when the guilty should die. The Lamb God provides, the blood God appoints. The mercy of heaven where judgment meets. No man can buy his way back home. No hand can wash its own stain clean. The life is in the blood, the altar says it plain. God makes a way for mercy in the middle of our shame. Noah built an altar when waters withdrew, and the earth still carried what sin could do. The Lord smelled the offering rising above, a sign in the ashes of patience and love. Then Abraham climbed where the mountain stood, with Isaac beside him in fire and wood. Father, the Lamb, came the question, so clear, and Abraham answered through sorrow and fear. The Lord will provide what he says must be. Then heaven called out, do not harm the boy. A ram was caught where the thorns had grown, and the mountain learned God would provide his own. Not because death had become something light, not because sin had slipped out of his sight, but God was teaching his people to see the guilty cannot save themselves free. The Lamb God provides, the blood God appoints. The mercy of heaven where judgment meets. No man can buy his way back home. No hand can wash its own stain clean. The life is in the blood, the altar says it plain. God makes a way for mercy in the middle of our shame. Then came the altar, the priest, and the flame. The offerings carried the people's shame. Burnt offering, peace offering, sin offering too. Every command show what sin can do. Once every year on that solemn day, the high priest entered the holy way. Blood before mercy, confession made. The sins of the people carried away. But the people came back and the offerings came. Year after year still calling sin sin. God never said that a sacrifice meant a heart could stay proud and never repent. I want your mercy, your truth, your fear. A broken heart that will draw near. The altar was never a trick or a show. It taught what man needed to know. The blood is not magic, the smoke is not God. The sacrifice teaches the cost of the wrong. The Lord gave the altar, the Lord made the way. The Lord kept calling his people to stay. Mercy and justice, holiness too. A God who is righteous, still reaching for you. The Lamb God provides, the blood God appoints. The mercy of heaven where judgment meets. No man can buy his way back home. No hand can wash its own stain clean. Life is in the blood, the The altar says it plain. God makes a way for mercy in the middle of our shame. From Eden's covering to Abel's flock, to Abraham's mountain, to the altar smoke. God was teaching us sin brings death, mercy must be given, and the lamb belongs to God. 400 years under another man's hand, bricks in the mud, children crying, a people waiting. Then God said, I have seen, I have heard, and I will bring you out. They were slaves beneath the sun, making bricks till the daylight's done. Hands worn down, backs bent low, praying for a way to go. Pharaoh's heart stayed hard as stone, would not let God's people go home. Plague after plague came through the land, still he fought the Lord's command. Then Moses spoke what God had said, one more judgment lies ahead. Every house throughout this land will feel the weight of Pharaoh's hand. Not because Israel had earned a place where judgment would not burn, not because their hands were clean, God himself would make the means. Blood on the door, stay inside tonight. Trust what the Lord has spoken, hold your children tight. Blood on the door, the lamb has died. When judgment moves across the land, the covered ones survive. Not by strength, not by pride, not because they were better inside. Blood on the door, and the Lord passed by. And the Lord passed by. Take a lamb without a stain, keep it till the 14th day. Kill it at the going down, let his blood be marked around. Put it on the doorpost there, eat the meal and be prepared. Shoes upon your feet that night, staff in hand and ready to fly. No time to let the bread rise high, no time to wait, no time to hide. The Lord was moving through the land, deliverance was close at hand. Inside one house, the lamb was slain. Outside another, grief and pain. The difference was not wealth and name, it was whether they trusted what God proclaimed. Blood on the door, stay inside tonight. Trust what the Lord has spoken, hold your children tight. Blood on the door, the lamb has died. When judgment moves across the land, the covered ones survive. Not by strength, not by pride, not because they were better inside. Blood on the door, and the Lord passed by. Midnight broke across Egypt's ground, a cry went up from town to town. From Pharaoh's house to prisoners chained, death had come through every name. But where the blood had marked the wood, the Lord remembered what he said he would. The destroyer did not enter there, because God's covering stood in the air. Then Pharaoh caught in fear and lost. Take your people, go across. And Israel walked out through the night, bearing bread and heading toward light. The God who heard them in their pain broke the power of Egypt's chain. He did not save them to remain under Pharaoh's whip again. Remember this night, teach it to your sons. Tell them how the Lord came down and what the Lord had done. Tell them it was mercy, tell them it was fear. Tell them God made one way when judgment had drawn near. The lamb was his command, the blood was his design. The door was marked by faith, and freedom came in time. Blood on the door, stay inside tonight. Just what the Lord has spoken, hold your children tight. Blood on the door, the lamb has died. When judgment moves across the land, the covered ones survive. Not by strength, not by pride, not because they God did not bring them out of Egypt to leave them without a way. He brought them to the mountain, he spoke, and the people said, all that the Lord has spoken, we will do. Out of the fire, out of the chain, through the sea and into the rain, they came to a mountain burning bright, thunder rolling through the night. The Lord spoke words that showed his way, how to love, how to judge, how to pray, how to honor, how to walk, how to let a holy people talk. No stolen truth, no lying tongue, no bloodshed hiding in the sun, no idols made by human hands, no turning from the Lord's commands. The law was good, the law was clear, it showed what justice looked like here. It named the path that life should take, and named the sin that hearts can make. Written on stone, but missing from the heart. The words were holy, but the people stood apart. They heard his voice, they saw his fire, but a stubborn heart still chased desire. Written on stone, clear as the mountain flame. The law showed what was right, but could not make them stay the same. Before the tablets reached the ground, a golden calf was standing round. The people danced before a thing their own hands made instead of king. They said we will, then turned away, forgot the words they heard that day. The covenant was read out loud, but pride still moved inside the crowd. Through wilderness and promised land, they kept resisting God's command. Judges rose, then judges died, and every man did what he liked. Kings were given, prophets cried, still the people turned aside. They had the altar, priest and song, but hearts kept choosing what was wrong. Written on stone, but missing from the heart. The words were holy, but the people stood apart. They heard his voice, they saw his fire, but a stubborn heart still chased desire. Written on stone, clear as the mountain flame. The law showed what was right, but could not make them stay the same. Could show the wound was there, could name the sin and lay it bare. It could call the crooked path, could warn a people of God's wrath. It could say, love the Lord your God, walk in his ways upon this road. But stone cannot make a rebel bend, and written words cannot make sin. And the prophets saw what had gone wrong, lips sang near but hearts stayed gone. Hands brought offerings, prayers were said, but idols still lived in the head. Your heart is hard, the prophets cried, you need more than the rules outside. Not another promise made in fear, a heart that wants the Lord near. Circumcise the heart, turn while there is time. Wash away the idols, leave the crooked line. The problem was not that God's way was too holy or too hard. The problem lived beneath the skin, in the hidden broken heart. Written on stone, but missing from the heart. The words were holy, but the people stood apart. They heard his voice, they saw his fire, but a stubborn heart still chased desire. Written on stone, clear as the mountain flame. The law showed what was right, but could not make them stay the same. So God spoke through the prophets, I will gather, I will cleanse. the problem was deeper than stone. Morning after morning, the fire was lit again. Year after year, the blood was brought again. Not because God had forgotten, but because the wound was still there. Yeah. The priest stood early by the flame, the same old offering, the same old name. A lamb without blemish, a bull, a ram, a life laid down for the sins of man. The smoke rose up from the altar stone, but no man came with a heart of his own. Hands could bring what God required, while hidden idols still burn like fire. The people knew the feast days well. They knew the songs, they knew the smell. They knew the gates, the courts, the priest. But sin kept coming back to feast. They brought the offering, then turned away, spoke holy words, then lived their way. And every sacrifice made plain the outside act could not heal the stain. The altar kept burning, the blood kept flowing, the smoke kept rising to heaven above. But God kept calling, bring me your heart now, not empty hands and a mouth without love. The altar was holy, the command was true, but the fire could not make a rebel heart new. On the day of atonement came, the people humbled the priest by name, and stood where no man could lightly stand, with blood in hand by God's command. One goat carried the people's shame, one goat died beneath the blame. And all the nation watched that day as sin was pictured, taken away. But next year came, and there they stood, still needing mercy, still needing blood. The priest grew old, the priest would die, and still the people lifted their cry. The offerings were never a game. God gave them, God called them by name, but he had spoken through the prophet's voice. Obey me, love me, make mercy your choice. The altar kept burning, the blood kept flowing, the smoke kept rising to heaven above. But God kept calling, bring me your heart now, not empty hands and a mouth without love. The altar was holy, the command was true, but the fire could not make a rebel heart new. I do not want your feast alone, your songs while injustice fills your home. Your hands are full, your hearts are far. You bow in my house, then live by another star. What good is a ram from 1,000 hills if you will not do my righteous will? What good is sacrifice in your hand if you crush the weak across the land? Walk humbly, love mercy, do what is right. Do not bring darkness into my light. A broken spirit, a heart made low, that is the offering I want to know. The prophets cried through city streets, God wants truth where the hidden heart beats. The altar taught what sin had cost, but it could not restore what man had lost. The priest kept serving, the offerings came, the people kept falling back into shame. The law was holy, the altar was true, but something deeper had to be done in you. Not less than justice, not mercy made cheap, but cleansing that reaches the heart buried deep. The altar kept burning, the blood kept flowing, the smoke kept rising to heaven above. But God kept calling, bring me your heart now, not empty hands and a mouth without love. The altar was holy, the command was true, but the fire could not make a rebel heart new. The sacrifice showed the cost. The prophet prophets showed the need, and somewhere ahead God would send the righteous one, who could bear what others could not. The altar kept burning, the people kept falling, the prophets kept crying. Then God showed them a servant. He would not come while the soldiers march, not dressed in pride beneath an arch. No lifted voice to crush the weak, no worldly throne for men to seek. Despised and rejected, a man of grief, carrying sorrow beyond belief. The one men turned their faces from was bearing burdens not his own. We thought him struck, we thought him cursed. We saw the wound but missed the thirst. We saw the suffering, saw the pain, but did not see whose sin remained. He was righteous, we had wandered. He was faithful, we had strayed. He carried what was ours to bear, the grief, the wound, the shame, the fear. He stood beneath what sin had done, the righteous servant, God's chosen one. Wounded for rebellion, crushed beneath our wrong. The peace we never could have bought was laid upon him all along. He carried what was ours. He carried what was ours. Like sheep we wandered every way, each heart turned down its chosen stray. No man could find the road back home, no man could cleanse his heart alone. Then on the servant fell the weight, the iniquity, the guilt, the hate. He opened not his mouth in pride, but gave himself and did not hide. Like lamb before the shearer still, he bowed beneath the Father's will. Cut off from the land of life, bearing the cost of others' strife. Yet death would not erase his name. The Lord would bring him through the pain. He would see the fruit beyond the grave, and many through his work be saved. He carried what was ours to bear, the grief, the wound, the shame, the fear. He stood beneath what sin had done, the righteous servant, God's chosen one. Wounded for rebellion, crushed beneath our wrong. The peace we never could have bought was laid upon him all along. He carried what was ours. He carried what was ours. The psalmist cried from suffering's place, my God, why have you hid your face? Enemies gathered all around, mocking voices cruel and loud. They cast their lots, they watched him bleed, yet God would hear the righteous plea. The afflicted would not be forgotten, the nations yet would hear the song. A fountain open for the stain, for sin and uncleanness, guilt and shame. The shepherd struck, the sheep would scatter, but God would show what truly mattered. Not an accident, not defeat, not evil rising from its seat. The righteous one would give his life to answer sin and make things right. A guilt offering, a wounded healed, a pierced one mourned, a shepherd struck. The prophet spoke of sorrow deep, of blood, of grief, of scattered sheep. But through the wound God made it known, the lost could not come home alone. He carried what was ours to bear, the grief, the wound, the shame, the fear. He stood beneath what sin had done, the righteous servant, God's chosen one. Wounded for rebellion, crushed beneath our wrong. The peace we never could have bought was laid upon him all along. He carried what was ours. He carried what was ours. cost. The servants showed who would pay it, and the promise moved closer. A king can hold a scepter, a priest can stand before the altar, but God promised one who would carry both. Abraham came back from battleground, bread and wine a king priest found. Melchizedek blessed him in the name of God Most High, forever the same. A priest of peace, a king of right, a shadow standing in the light. Before the throne of David rose, God was showing what the future knows. Then David heard the Lord declare, sit at my right hand, rule from there. Your enemies beneath your feet, a priest forever complete. Not one more ruler chasing fame, not one more priest who dies in shame, but one appointed by God's own word, a throne and altar both secured. Crown and altar, scepter and flame, a king who judges in the Lord's own name. Crown and altar, priest and king, the branch is coming to build what God intends. He will rule in righteousness, he will bring his people near. Crown and altar, the promised one is here. The prophet saw a branch arise from David's fallen family line, not with the pride of wicked kings, but wisdom in the way he reigns. He will not judge by what I see, he will defend the poor and weak. With righteousness around his waist, he will bring justice to its place. Jeremiah called him righteous branch, a king whose rule will not collapse. Ezekiel spoke of one shepherd's hand, gathering the scattered through the land. Daniel saw the clouds draw near, the Son of Man with kingdom clear. Every people, tongue, and land would serve beneath his lasting hand. Crown and altar, scepter and flame, a king who judges in the Lord's own name. Crown and altar, priest and king, the branch is coming to build what God intends. He will rule in righteousness, he will bring his people near. Crown and altar, the promised one is here. Then Zechariah saw that branch, building the temple God had planned, glory resting on his head, counsel of peace where both are wed. Not a throne without mercy, not an altar without truth, not a kingdom built on violence, not a priesthood fading through. He will wear the crown with honor, he will bear the priestly place, he will rule with holy justice, he will bring the people grace. The shepherd will not scatter, the king will not betray, the priest will not grow weary and simply pass away. A ruler who can shepherd, a priest who can reign, a branch who can build what sin tore down again. A king for the needy, a priest drawing near, a shepherd for the scattered, a kingdom without fear. The promise is not only for a throne upon a hill, it is God's own righteous answer to accomplish all his will. Crown and altar, scepter and flame, a king who judges in the Lord's own name. Crown and altar, priest and king, the branch is coming to build what God intends. He will rule in righteousness, he will bring his people near. Crown and altar, the promised one is here. The altar had shown that sin must be answered. The prophets now show who would answer it. A king, a priest, a shepherd, the branch. The land was still there, the promises were still there, but the people were scattered, and the shepherds had fed themselves. Standing alone, They had kings upon the throne, they had priests around the stone, they had prophets crying out, while the people wandered down. The rich took what the poor had grown, the weak were left to stand alone. The wounded were not bound with care, the lost were left out in the air. The shepherds wore the wool and ate, but never stood beside the gate. They ruled with force, they ruled with pride, while sheep were scattered far and wide, across the hills through foreign lands. Broken people, empty hands, no one searching, no one near, only wolves in rising fear. I will seek my sheep, the Lord himself declared. I will bring them from the dark, I will find them where they're scattered. I will bind the wounded, I will strengthen what is weak, I will gather back my people, I will seek my sheep. I will seek my sheep. The exile was not just a war, not just another broken door. The prophets named the deeper stain, bloodshed, idols, pride, and shame. They turned from God, they chased the lie, they filled the land, then asked them why the city fell. The temple burned and every road led to what they earned, but mercy spoke beneath the pain. I will bring you home again, not because your hands are clean before my name that you are stained. I will wash the filth away, take the heart of stone away, give a heart that can receive, and teach your feet to walk with me. I will seek my sheep, the Lord himself declared. I will bring them from the dark, I will find them where they're scattered. I will bind the wounded, I will strengthen what is weak, I will gather back my people, I will seek my sheep. I will seek my sheep. Then God spoke of one shepherd's hand, David serving in the land, not another ruler feeding self, not another crown upon a shelf. One shepherd over them, one prince to guide their way, a covenant of peace would stand and fear would fade away. The dry bones heard the word, the breath came through the valley floor, a scattered house became one people, not divided anymore. God said my dwelling will be near, my sanctuary standing here. They will know that I am God when I bring them through the years. Not only land, not only walls, not only a throne rebuilt. They needed cleansing, they needed breath, they needed hearts made new, they needed truth inside the soul, a shepherd who would stay. They needed God to bring them back and lead them in his way. I will seek my sheep, the Lord himself declared. I will bring them from the dark, I will find them where they're scattered. I will bind the wounded, I will strengthen what is weak, I will gather back my people, I will seek my sheep. One shepherd, one people, one covenant of peace. The scattered would be gathered, the unclean would be washed, the heart of stone would not remain. But God's promise was larger than one people standing alone. God called one man from his country and made him a promise. Through your seed, all the families of the earth will be blessed. Abram walked where God had said, a promise burning up ahead. No army strong, no city wide, just faith beneath the open sky. I will make your name endure. I will bless and I will curse. And through the seed that comes from you, the nations of the earth will know what's true. This was never just one tent, never one small government. God was writing through a family line, a mercy reaching every time. From Abraham to Isaac's name, from Jacob through the fire and flame. The promise kept on moving on, a blessing for the nations to come. The nations will come, the peoples will rise from the ends of the earth to the mountain of God. The nations will come, not to build their own name, but to learn his ways and walk in his paths again. One king over all, one truth standing strong. The nations will come, the nations will come. The nations will come. The prophet saw a servant sent, not only to restore the bent, not only to raise Jacob's tribes, but be a light for distant lives, a light to those beyond the shore, a truth the nations would hear. For the islands waited, kings would see, the earth would know God's victory. The coastlands called, the people sang the name of the Lord through every land. From rising sun to going down, his glory would not stay in one town. The nations that had chased their gods, that walked their own hard, crooked roads, would turn and say, come let us go, teach us the way that we may know. The nations will come, the peoples will rise from the ends of the earth to the mountain of God. The nations will come, not to build their own name, but to learn his ways and walk in his paths again. One king over all, one truth standing strong. The nations will come, the nations will come. They will beat the swords away, no longer trained for war that day. The mountain of the Lord will stand, lifted above the works of man. From Zion goes instruction clear, the word of God that people hear. The judge of all will set things right and bring the hidden into light. Egypt, Assyria, lands once far will know the Lord who made the stars. The strangers who once had no place will come and seek his holy face. Not because Israel was cast aside, not because the promise ever died, but through the promise God first gave, the nations find the road he saves. One shepherd gathering, one king who reigns, one God above the tribes and names. Not men building towers to reach into the sky, but God calling people to walk with him nearby. The scattered will be gathered, the proud will bow low. The nations will learn what Israel was called to know. The nations will come, the peoples will rise from the ends of the earth to the mountain of God. The nations will come, not to build their own name, but to learn his ways and walk in his paths again. One king over all, one truth standing strong. The nations will come, the nations will come. The promise is never small, from one man called out to every nation called home. But the world still waited for the curse itself to be answered. The ground was cursed, the sweat was real, the thorns came up where bread should grow. But God did not leave the story in the dirt. Adam walked out from Eden's gate with dust on his hands and a weight on his back. The ground that once gave freely would fight him for every sack. Thorns in the field, pain in the day, sorrow following all the way. The serpent had lied, man had believed, and all creation felt what sin achieved. The garden was gone from reach and sight, the tree of life was guarded that night. Man had chosen his own way through, and even the earth bore witness too. But the Lord who judged still spoke of grace. The one who shut the garden would not forget the human race. The curse will not stay, the thorns will not win. The wilderness will hear the voice of God again. The desert will sing, the dry ground will rise. The wolf will rest in peace, and the earth will recognize. The curse will not stay, the Lord will make a way. What sin has torn apart, God will restore one day. The prophets looked beyond the pain, beyond the blood, beyond the rain, and saw a mountain lifted high, with nations coming from every side. They saw the wilderness bloom with song, the weak made strong, the crooked made straight. They saw no fear upon the road, no violent hand at heaven's gate. The lion would not hunt the lamb, the child would walk where danger ran. The earth would fill with knowing God, like waters cover the deep below. No more a land that swallows hope, no more a people bound by smoke. The fields would laugh, the vines would grow, and peace would run where sorrow flowed. The curse will not stay, thorns will not win. The wilderness will hear the voice of God again. The desert will sing, the dry ground will rise. The wolf will rest in peace, and the earth will recognize. The curse will not stay, the Lord will make a way. What sin has torn apart, God will restore one day. He promised shelter from the storm, a covenant of peace made firm, as people safe beneath his hand, no longer scattered through the land. The mountains dripping with new wine, the plowman meeting harvest time. The waste places built again, the ruined cities erased from shame. The trees would clap, the hills would sing, the earth would praise its rightful king. No more the old rebellious way, his word would make the darkness pay. Not souls escaping from the ground, but God's own blessing all around. A world made right beneath his reign, where righteousness and peace remain. From Eden's thorns to fields restored, from tears and toil to the joy of the Lord. From violence rising across the land to safety resting in the shepherd's hand. The promise is bigger than a heart made clean. It reaches the soil, the city, the stream. The curse struck deep, but grace goes farther. The Lord will not leave his work in disorder. The curse will not stay, the thorns will not win. The wilderness will hear the voice of God again. The desert will sing, the dry ground will rise. The wolf will rest in peace, and the earth will recognize. The curse will not stay, the Lord will make a way. What sin has torn apart, God will restore one day. The ground still groans, the thorns still rise, but the promise stands. The curse will not stay. From dust man came, to dust man returned. Generation after generation, a name was spoken, then the grave closed. But God did not leave the grave as the final word. Hey. Yeah. Adam heard it in the garden. Dust you are, to dust you go, and every row beyond that doorway learned the weight of what he'd sown. Fathers buried sons in sorrow, sons laid fathers in the ground. Cities rose and kingdoms vanished, still the grave kept making sound. Adam lived, the record tells us. Then the same hard line appears, and he died, and then he died across the passing years. Man could build and man could gather, man could fight and man could reign, but no strong hand could hold back death, no wealth could buy life back again. Who can ransom from the grave? Who can call the dust to rise? Who can swallow death forever and bring morning to the eyes? The grave is deep, the grave is cold, no man can buy his brother's soul, but God will ransom, God will save. There is hope beyond the grave. Job sat broken in the ashes, watching everything fall down. Yet through pain he spoke a promise, stronger than the grave could drown. I know my Redeemer lives, and in the end he will stand. Though this body falls to dust, God will not forget the man. David looked beyond the shadows, you will not leave me in the pit. Asaph said, you guide me onward, then receive me after it. No man can give a price enough to keep his brother from decay, but God himself can take a life from death's devouring way. Who can ransom from the grave? Who can call the dust to rise? Who can swallow death forever and bring morning to the eyes? The grave is deep, the grave is cold, no man can buy his brother's soul, but God will ransom, God will save. There is hope beyond the grave. Isaiah saw a feast prepared, a mountain full of joy, and death itself would be destroyed, not merely held at bay. He will wipe the tears from faces, he will take reproach away, and his people will be saying, this is our God who came to save. Your dead shall live, the prophet cried, awake you who sleep in dust. Then Ezekiel stood in a valley full of bones without a pulse. Can these bones live? God asked him, only God could truly know. Then the word went through the valley, and the breath began to blow. Bone to bone, sinew and skin, breath from heaven, life again. Daniel saw the sleepers rising, some to everlasting light. Hosea heard the Lord declaring, death, where is your victory now? The grave may hold the body, but it cannot break God's claim. The one who gives the breath of life can call his people by their name. Who can ransom from the grave? Who can call the dust to rise? Who can swallow death forever and bring morning to the eyes? The grave is deep, the grave is cold, no man can buy his brother's soul, but God will ransom, God will save. There is hope beyond the grave. The grave is not the end. God has promised life, but life must reach deeper still, past the bones, into the heart. They had the words, they had the altar, they had the covenant read aloud, but God said the work must go deeper now. They carried tablets down the hill, they heard the thunder, felt the will of the God who brought them from the chain, and called them by his holy name. They knew the statutes, knew the feast, knew the songs the priest would sing, but every generation found a way to turn from their true king. The heart was hard, the way was bent, the people broke what God had sent. They built their idols, chased their pride, then wondered why the glory died. The prophets stood in city gates, turned turn before it is too late. Your hands are busy, your lips are near, but where is the heart that holds him dear? Write it within, not only on stone. Give us a heart that knows you as home. Wash what is stained, break what is hard. Put your own spirit deep in our heart. Not just a promise a frightened mouth made. Write it within and teach us your way. Jeremiah wept through broken streets of people scattered in defeat, yet through the ruin God still said, a better covenant lies ahead. Yeah, not like the covenant they broke. Though I was husband, though I spoke, I will put my instruction there inside the heart where no man sees. Hey, hey, hey. They will know me, the Lord declare, from least to great I will be near. I will remember sin no more and open mercy's lasting door. Not just laws outside the skin, not just fear of falling again, but truth made living in the soul of people made alive and whole. Write it within, not only on stone. Give us a heart that knows you as home. Wash what is stained, break what is hard. Put your own spirit deep in our heart. Not just a promise a frightened mouth made. Write it within and teach us your way. Ezekiel looked at scattered bones of people far from all they known, defiled by idols, blood and shame, yet God's to call them by their name. I will gather you from every land, bring you back by my own hand. I will sprinkle clean water down and wash the filth that held you bound. I will take the heart of stone, give a heart of flesh my own. I will put my spirit there and lead your feet in faithful care. Not because their name was clean, not because they'd earned the dream, but for the honor of the Lord who keeps his word forevermore. New heart, clean hands, spirit within, not man climbing up but God coming in. Gathered, washed, made alive, God making a people who walk in his light. The promise was never try harder alone. The promise was I will make you my own. Write it within, not only on stone. Give us a heart that knows you as home. Wash what is stained, break what is hard. Put your own spirit deep in our heart. Not just a promise a frightened mouth made. Write it within and teach us your way. A new covenant, a new heart, a people made clean, but cleansing has a cost, and mercy still must stand with justice. At Sinai, Moses asked to see the glory of the Lord, and God answered with his own name. Merciful, gracious, slow to anger, full of steadfast love. But he did not say that guilt was nothing. The mountain shook beneath the clouds. The people stood back trembling loud. A holy God had come near, and every hidden thing stood clear. Moses bowed before the face of mercy no man could replace. The Lord, his name was known. Compassion flowing from his throne. Forgiving sin, forgiving wrong, keeping mercy deep and long, yet not pretending evil fate. Just because the guilty pray, he sees the violence in the street, the blood beneath the proud man's feet, the lie that breaks a neighbor down, the secret sin behind the crown. Mercy did not call it good, love did not deny the blood. Justice did not close its eyes to the wreckage of our lives. God is holy, God is near, God is mercy, God is fear. He would not leave the guilty lost, but mercy never said sin had no cost. David knew his hands were stained. No hiding place, no false refrain against you. He cried in grief. Only you can bring relief. Not sacrifice without a heart, not songs while staying far apart, but truth inside the hidden place. A broken spirit before his face. The psalmist saw a meeting ground where mercy, truth, and peace were found. Righteousness will walk ahead and make a way where sinners tread. Judge who smiles at evil, holds no grudge. He is not cold, unwilling to hear the crushed who call to you. Mercy did not call it good. Love did not deny the blood. Justice did not close its eyes to the wreckage of our lives. God is holy, God is near, God is mercy, God is fear. He would not leave the guilty lost, but mercy never said sin had no cost. Isaiah saw no man could stand, no one righteous in the land. Truth had stumbled in the street, justice had no place to meet. Then the Lord looked and he saw no human hand could heal it all. No intercessor strong enough, no man could rise above the dust. So his own arm would bring salvation, his own righteousness foundation. A redeemer would come to those who would turn from sin and left their roads. Micah saw the God who delights not in wrath through endless nights, but in mercy, pardon, grace, casting sin from its hiding place. Holy and merciful, just and forgiving, pure beyond measure, yet still drawing near. The judge of all nations would not erase truth. The Father of mercy would not abandon you. No bargain with darkness, no cheap way home, no man-made ladder, no debt we could own. The answer had to come from God. Mercy and justice, walking one road. Mercy did not call it good. Love did not deny the blood. Justice did not close its eyes to the wreckage of our lives. God is holy, God is near, God is mercy, God is fear. He would not leave the guilty lost, but mercy never said sin had no cost. The Holy One would make a way, not by pretending sin was small, not by leaving man condemned, but by sending the Redeemer man could never become. A slave cannot buy his own freedom if the price is more than he owns. A grave cannot be bribed, a stain cannot be wished away. Somebody has to come near enough to redeem what was lost. Yeah, yeah. Israel groaned beneath a chain, brick by brick in Egypt's pain. Then the Lord said, I have seen, I will bring you out redeemed. Not with silver, not with gold, not with strength the slaves could hold. By his mighty arm he came, called them out by covenant name. Then he gave the law of land. If a brother lost what filled his hand, one close enough could come and stand, buy it back and take his place. If a family line was near to fall, if poverty had swallowed all, a redeemer had the right to raise what had been lost in darker days. My redeemer lives, my redeemer knows the price I cannot pay, the road I cannot close. No man can buy his brother from the grave, no hand can reach far enough to save. But God remembers, God comes near, my Redeemer lives, and he will not leave me here. Ruth came home with empty hands, a widow in a foreign land. Naomi carried bitter years, a house made quiet by her tears. But Boaz saw the field they crossed, and would not leave them in their loss. He stepped before the gate that day, took the burden, made a way. He was willing, he was near, he had the right to stand right there. He redeemed the land and name and lifted shame from where it came. A story written in the grain, a picture rising through the pain. What was broken, what was gone, could be brought back through one strong hand. My Redeemer lives, my Redeemer knows the price I cannot pay, the road I cannot close. No man can buy his brother from the grave. No hand can reach far enough to save. But God remembers, God comes near. My Redeemer lives, and he will not leave me here. The psalmist looked at wealth and said, no rich man buys life back from death. No ransom great enough is found to keep a brother from the ground. Yeah, God will ransom from the grave, God will take the one he saves. He is the rock, the one who hears, the Redeemer through the years. Job sat down in ash and loss, everything broken, every cost. Still through the pain his voice arose. I know my Redeemer lives. Though skin may fail and dust may fall, though death may knock upon us all, the one who stands in latter days will have the final word to say. Redeemer of Israel, Redeemer of the weak, Redeemer of the captive, of the broken and the meek. You call the prisoner out, you buy the lost thing back. You lift the bowed down head and lead the scattered track. No man can save himself, no brother buys the price. But you, oh Lord, are near, the Redeemer of our life. My Redeemer lives, my Redeemer knows the price I cannot pay, the road I cannot close. No man can buy his brother from the grave. No hand can reach far enough to save. But God remembers, God comes near. My Redeemer lives, and he will not leave me here. From Egypt's chains to Ruth's lost field, to Job's last cry, the Lord is Redeemer, and the world still waits for the one who can redeem it all. From a garden closed by sin to a grave no man could outrun, God had been speaking all along. A seed would come beneath the curse, wounded but the serpent's end. A ram was caught upon the mount, the Lord provides again. A lamb was slain in Egypt's night, blood upon the door. The altar burned, the priest stood near year after year once more. The law showed every crooked road, the prophets named the stain. The kings had failed, the shepherds fled, the people broke again. And through the smoke and sorrow came a promise none could make. A righteous one would bear the weight of all that sin had broke. He is the one God promised, the seed, the lamb, the king, the servant bruised for our rebellion, the priest who brings us in, the shepherd for the scattered, the branch who stands in grace, the Redeemer strong enough to ransom death's dark place. He is the one God promised, from Eden to the grave, the one no man could become, the one God had to send to save. Isaiah saw him lifted high, then marred beyond all men, despised, rejected, bearing grief, yet God would raise him then. The Lord laid on that righteous soul the wrong of wandering sheep. He carried sin, he bore the wound, he went where darkness keeps. The guilt offering cut off in death, yet seeing life beyond. Justifying many through his pain, his labor not undone. The psalmist saw the suffering, the mocking and the scorn, yet nations would remember God and worship him reborn. He is the one God promised, the seed, the lamb, the king, the servant bruised for our rebellion, the priest who brings us in, the shepherd for the scattered, the branch who stands in grace, the redeemer strong enough to ransom death's dark place. He is the one God promised, from Eden to the grave, the one no man could become, the one God had to send to save. A king and priest forever, according to God's word. A branch who builds a shepherd near a ruling nation's herd. He gathers Israel from the dust, he washes what was stained. He gives a heart of flesh within a spirit, makes them change. The nations come to learn his ways, the wilderness will sing. The wolf and lamb lie down in peace beneath the righteous king. Dust swallowed up, dry bones awake, the grave gives back its own. And God will dwell among his people, no longer far from home. Not just forgiveness, not just escape, not just a song for a future day, but sin answered, the curse undone. The scattered gathered, God and man made one, a new heart, clean hands, a people brought near, a king upon Zion, with nothing left to fear. He is the one God promised, the seed, the lamb, the king, the servant bruised for our rebellion, the priest who brings us in, the shepherd for the scattered, the branch who stands in grace, the redeemer strong enough to ransom death's dark place. He is the one God promised, from Eden to the grave, the one no man could become, the one God had to send to save. Before the grave, God made man for life. After the grave, God promised life again. And from the first word in Eden to the last promise of restoration, the whole story was waiting for him. For him. The story began with God and man walking in a garden. Sin drove man away, but God's last word was never exile. The garden gate was shut behind, the tree of life was out of reach. Man went east beneath the curse, too far for his own hands to reach. But through the years God kept his word, through covenant, altar, prophet, king. Through every promise in the dust, he showed what he would one day bring. A shepherd for the scattered sheep, a branch that would arise in rain, a servant bearing guilt and grief, a fountain washing sin and stain, a king and priest upon one throne, a redeemer strong enough to save, a righteous one who opens up a road that reaches past the grave. God will dwell with man again, not far away, not shut outside. He will gather, he will cleanse, he will bring his people near his side. God will dwell with man again, the curse will lose its ancient ground. The shepherd's voice, the king's own peace, and life where death once made its sound. Ezekiel saw the scattered house, like bones across a valley floor. No strength inside, no breath within, no hope of being whole once more. Then God spoke life into the dust, and breath came where the dead had lain. One people standing in the land, no death once made its sound. The prophet saw the mountain rise, the nations coming up to learn. No more the pride of Babel's tower, no more the sword and fire to burn. The wilderness would bloom with joy, the dry ground sing beneath the rain. The wolf and lamb would rest in peace, and children would not live in pain. Death would be swallowed from the earth, the tears wiped from the waiting face. The grave would yield the ones God calls, and shame would not outrun His grace. The earth was made to be a home, not left beneath the curse of sin. The God who formed man from the dust would bring His purpose home again. From Eden's gate to Zion's hill, God has been speaking, and He speaks still. From blood and altar, from grief and loss, from shepherds struck and mercy's cost, He will restore, He will renew, He will make His promise true. Not man climbing up to find his way, but God coming down to dwell and stay. God will dwell with man again, not far away, not shut outside. He will gather, He will cleanse, He will bring His people near His side. God will dwell with man again, the curse will lose its ancient ground. The shepherd's voice, the King's own peace and life, where death once made its sound. Before shame, God made a home after exile. God promised home again, and the Redeemer's work will not be finished until God dwells with man again. Man was made for life, but man chose death. And from Eden onward, the question was never, could man fix this himself? The question was, who could? Who could open Eden's gate when man had chosen pride and hate? Who could cleanse a guilty heart when every hand had done its part? Who could answer sin and death, call dry bones back to breathe? Who could take the serpent's lie and bring it underneath his feet? Who could carry what man owed, walk the sorrow-heavy road? Who could stand where justice stands, with mercy held in wounded hands? Not another broken king, not another offering, not another promise made by fearful lips that turned away. That is why the promised one must come, why the righteous servant gives his life. Man could not climb his own way home, could not make his darkness right. The lamb, the king, the priest, the branch, the shepherd, strong enough to save. God's own answer to the curse, God's own ransom from the grave. The altar told the truth for years. Sin is costly, God is near. Blood upon the mercy place, mercy offered by His grace. Passover told a watching land, trust the Lamb God gives by hand. Judgment moved, but blood was there, and freedom rose into the air. The law named what the heart had done, but stone could not make rebels run toward the God whose ways are true, or make the hard heart start anew. The prophets cried, your hands are full, but your hidden hearts are dull. Then the Lord said, I will make a covenant no man can break. That is why the promised one must come, why the righteous servant gives his life. Man could not climb his own way home, could not make his darkness right. The lamb, the king, the priest, priest, the branch, the shepherd, strong enough to save. God's own answer to the curse, God's own ransom from the grave. Isaiah saw the servant wounded, bearing what the wandering brought, cut off yet not defeated, given all that others could not. David's tall priest, king rising, seated where the Lord had said. Zechariah saw the branch build peace, and priesthood joined instead. Ezekiel saw the shepherd gather scattered sheep from every land. Jeremiah heard the promise, I will write my word within. Daniel saw the kingdom coming, never broken, never done. Hosea heard the grave surrender when the Lord's work had been won. For Israel's cleansing, for the nation's light, for the curse to loosen, for the dead to rise, for mercy without pretending that evil has no cost, for God to dwell with man again, for all that sin had lost. That is why the promised one must come, why the righteous servant gives his life. Man could not climb his own way home, could not make his darkness right. The lamb, the king, the priest, the branch, the shepherd, strong enough to save. God's own answer to the curse, God's own ransom from the grave. From Eden's dust to the world made new, the old story says it plain, man could not save himself, so God promised the one who could. Donald Johnson, Scrapyard Saints. Thank you for staying with me through this study. This was not made just to give you another song to hear or another video to scroll past. Yeah, this is the story Scripture has been telling from the beginning. What God made, what man lost, why sin and death could not be ignored, and why the promised one had to come and give his life. I can put the water out here, but I cannot make somebody drink. That part is in your hands. A like helps this message reach people who may never find it otherwise. A comment tells YouTube that this is worth showing to somebody else. A share can put it in front of a friend, a family member, a brother, a sister, or somebody sitting alone who needs to hear that God has not forgotten them. So please like this video, leave a comment, share it, and tell the people you love about it. Because unless you truly believe this message could never help save a life, strengthen somebody's faith, wake somebody up, or bring somebody back to the truth of God's word, then it is worth passing on. The word is God's, the water is here, let's make sure somebody gets a drink. Travel light, and I will see you next time on the porch.